Hi everyone. Today we learn what is algebra. Have you ever hunted Easter eggs or tried to find something you have lost? How interesting will it be when you can find it? Yay! In math or precisely algebra, you replace this unknown entity which you're trying to find with a variable, generally a letter, in an equation. So our job is to hunt down the unknown and find what number it represents. Cool, right? But wait, what is an equation now? Let us think very simply. It is just an expression which has a left hand side and a right hand side. For example, the x plus 2 which is equal to 10 here x plus 2 is the left hand side, and after the equal to sign is the right hand side. That is, 10 is the right hand side. Now let's take some everyday easy examples. My niece Kaju has 10 yummy chocolates. So this is Kaju, right? And she has how many chocolates? Five yummy chocolates. Her friend Mia comes and plays with her and asks 2 chocolates. Okay, so this is Mia, right? And she asks for 2 chocolates from Kaju. And Kaju is very kind and gentle, so she gives away her 2 chocolates. Now, imagine or think in a situation where you have things and you're giving it away. So what mathematical operation are you doing in this situation? You're subtracting, right? Because you're giving it away. Yes, you're right. So let's see what this is equal to. So, and how do we represent this with an algebraic equation? Okay, so you have to think about 2 things, like what is 5 minus 2 and what is the algebraic equation behind this. So here the algebraic equation is x is equal to 5 minus 2. And what's the answer? Yay, that is 3. So the value of x, that is the unknown, is 3. Alright? So you now found the unknown, which is 3. And what is it represented by? The variable x. Let us see another example. Now here Kaju has 3 yummy chocolates. This is Kaju with her 3 chocolates. Now her friend Mia decides to give her 2 chocolates. Okay? So Kaju will now gaining chocolates. So think about it. When you get more stuff, what do? You tend to add, right? And how much is that equal to? And how would you represent that in an algebraic equation? So keep thinking, good work, okay? And this is how you represent it. That is, x is equal to 3 plus 2. Now let's do the hard work. That is the sum of the 2, that's x is 5. You're right. And now the unknown value of x is 5. Yay, you did it. Another example is where now Kaju has $5 a week. She's saving that money for buying stuff for herself. But she decides she wants to double her savings. Okay? So now think what you have to do when you have to double, triple, etc. When you double, you actually multiply by how much? By 2. Okay? So the $5 is being multiplied by 2, and think of the algebraic expression and also find the value of 5 times 2. I'm giving you time. Good work. Do all the hard work. Yes, climb up, and then you find that the algebraic expression is 5 times 2 and the amount she's saving is 10, right? So the value of x is 10. So you found x again. Yay to that. Next, another example. This is the last one. Kaju has 10 cookies and she wants to distribute them equally amongst her friends. So 4 of her friends come to visit her. So this is Kaju. Her 4 friends come. Think what you have to do when you have 10 cookies and you have to distribute it with your friends. So distribution means a division. But the other thing to note here is how many people will be eating these cookies. Will there be just her 4 friends or also Kaju? So why should we leave Kaju, right? So we have 4 friends plus Kaju, so the total number is 5. So what do? You're right. We do 10 divided by 5. And what's the algebraic expression for that? X is equal to 10 divided by 5. Now I want you to divide and do the hard work. Okay, do the division. Yes, climb up. Yes, you're working hard. I know you're doing it. And then you get the answer, that is x is 2. So all her friends, if you can see this, are now getting 2 cookies each, right? Isn't that awesome? So you again found the unknown. So yay to that. Now let's wind up our examples. We've done most of our operations and see what are some fun facts in algebra. One thing remember, that is equations and math never lies. So algebraic equations also never lie, right? So both sides of an equation are always equal. That's why I'm calling it an equation, where the equation has a left-hand side and a right-hand side. So the left-hand side will always be equal to the right-hand side. So let's say a simple example is x is equal to 5. So x will always be 5. So when you are trying to do some math operations on equations, remember that you have to do the same operation on both sides of the equation. So for x, you add, if you're adding something to x on the left side, you have to do the same on the right hand side. Let's take an example, a very easy example, which I already said that x plus 5 is 10. Now if I want to subtract 5 from this equation, I'll be subtracting 5 from both sides. That's the second rule, okay? So why did I choose the number 5? Can you think and can you give me some idea why I'm doing that? Because my final goal is to actually find the value of x. So I'm trying to help you think ahead. If I have x plus 5 on the left hand side, I want to get rid of the 5, so I will be subtracting 5. Why? Because x is added, 5 is added to x here. So subtracting 5 from both sides is something like this, and then the plus 5 and minus 5 get cancelled because 5 minus 5 is 0, okay? And how much is 10 minus 5? Yay, you're right, it is 5. So now x is equal to 5. So you've solved for x in this easy and simple equation or example. Next, let's take this example where x times 5 is equal to 10. Now here, since you're multiplying x with 5, so let's divide both sides by 5. So when you divide both sides by 5, you have x times 5 divided by 5 is 10 divided by 5, and that can be written in this fashion too, where 5 and 5 get cancelled off and you're left off with x is equal to 2, right? Just divide and you'll get it. Okay, so yay, now you know what the unknowns are. You solved it, isn't it? Yay to that. Next is, let's solve more complicated algebraic equations with some tips and tricks. So what are these tips? Let's go over them one by one. The first step is to remember that we need to find the variable. So always, whatever we need to find, that should be represented by a variable that is x or y, right? If something is added to x, we subtract the same thing. So whatever is done to x, we need to do the reverse of that. So for example, which I already said, if x plus 5 is 10, what I need to do is I just need to think about it. What? Yes, I need to subtract 5. Why? Because what is happening to x? What is the operation on x? An addition. And what's the inverse or reverse? So what you have to do is you have to do reverse of what has been done. Okay. So what's the reverse of addition? It's subtraction. So let us know what these inverse operations are. For addition, it is subtraction. So the inverse of plus is minus. The inverse of minus is plus. So think about multiplication and division also in the same manner. So inverse of multiplication is division, and inverse of division is multiplication. Cool, right? So now we know what inverse operations are. Let's have some fun together and solve some algebraic equations. Take this spinning wheel and let us decide. The spinning wheel is made up of Kaju and her friends, right? And let us decide what number we choose by spinning this wheel. Okay, let me spin this wheel for you guys. and stop it at a certain number. Let's spin, and then stop it. And what number is the spinning wheel giving me? It's giving me 2. So I decide an algebraic equation, which is x minus 2 is equal to 10. So think next, what do we have to do in this case? There is a minus. Notice this negative sign, which is minus. What is the inverse of subtraction? Yes, it is addition, right? So what you have to do is you have to add 2 on both sides, and I'll leave it for you to find the answer. Next, we spin the wheel again and get the number 5. Okay, so here, that's the expression for x minus 5. And now you have to think and tell me, if I was subtracting 5 on x, what should we actually do? Yes, we add 5 to both sides and then solve the equation. The other example of 5 is when you're adding 5 to it, we've done a lot of subtractions. Now let's do some additions. If you're adding 5 to an equation on both sides, now you have to subtract 5 to get the value of x. Okay. Now the spinning wheel is now giving me a value of 10. So let's have some algebraic expressions with 10. So y divided by 10 is equal to 10. Notice now I've used y as the variable. Remember I told you can use any letter. So why not y? You can use a, b, y, z, x, anything. Okay. So now what we do is, what are we doing here? What is happening to y? Y is being divided by 10. So if I need to find y, what should I do? I would be multiplying y with 10. Okay, so you multiply y with 10 and multiply both sides, because you cannot change the equation. Okay, equation has a standard truth which cannot be changed. So next, one more example with 10 is like z times 10 is equal to 100. So what is it we are doing here? We're multiplying. So to get the answer, what should we do? We should divide both sides. So yay, now we have know what the unknown is. I'm sure you could solve this. Yay to that. Now let's solve a little more complicated equations, and so let's step up further. So let's consider the equation 2x plus 5 is equal to 15. So think, what should we do here? It is a little complicated because you are having composite operations here. Remember, if there is no sign between 2 and x, it just means that x has been multiplied with 2, and then you're adding 5 to it and you're getting 15. So our first step would be to isolate this term, right? So on this side of the equation, you see that 5 is added to the left hand side. Okay, so what we do is we subtract 5 from both sides. So this is, after a lot of thought, we realized that we should subtract 5 from both sides. So subtracting 5 from both sides gives me 2x plus 5 minus 5 is equal to, on the right hand side also 5 should be subtracted, so is equal to 15 minus 5, right? And then we get 2x is equal to, how much is 15 minus 5? You're right, it is 10. So let's see, what should we do in the final step? Divide both sides by 2, right? Because x has been multiplied by 2. So if you divide both sides by 2, you get 2 times x divided by 2 is equal to 10 divided by 5. Okay, so this 2 gets cancelled with 2, or it just becomes x. And how much is 10 divided by 5? So, sorry, 10 divided by 2? You're right, it is 5. Okay, so now we see that we can easily find all unknowns. And you are awesome. You deserve a clap for this. Clap, clap, clap. Thank you, Algebra kids. You're simply awesome. Bye. See you next time.